What is up, everybody? Welcome back, crew member. And if you're new here, my name's Lewis, also known as MrCameraJunkie. If you want to be part of the Camera Junkie crew, make sure that you subscribe, hit a like, and introduce yourself in the chat so that you can get a nice warm welcome from the Camera Junkie crew itself. Well, welcome back to yet another live stream. Week number 43 consecutive Saturdays that we are here live on the Camera Junkie stream. I thank you, as always, for stopping by and spending your most precious commodity, which is your time, here with me hanging out on the weekends while we live it up in Club Camera Junkie. Today I am blessed with the presence of my son Aiden. He's hanging out here with me. He's playing with his toys, so if you hear him in the background, just so you know exactly what's going on, you know, dad duties, 24 hours, 7 days a week. All right, so let's see who's in chat here, because today is gonna be like story time in Camera Junkie live stream. I have a very interesting story, you know, of my week's events, and I would like to share that with you. Let me see who's here. Okay, first in the house we have Sammy Superstar. That's way too big. Okay, so let's see if we can fix this right off the bat. I'm going to unlock my scene, and let's bring this down to size. Okay, actually, you know what? Maybe it's just too long. And let's, like Doc says, embiggen. Let's embiggen to this size here. Let's do this. This is looking good to me. All right, so we did that. Let's check it out again. Okay, why are you coming out behind this now? That shouldn't do that. Let's see the next one. Okay, behind that as well. Well, bear with me, guys. Give me just 1 second. Showing current scene. Yeah. So why is that coming in? Well, you know what? Let's do this. Boom. Perfect. All right. All right, we'll just leave that for now. That looks a lot better. Okay, so now that we got things rolling, let's lock this overlay. All right, and now we're good to go. Thank you for your patience. All right, so we have Sammy Superstar, first one in the house. We have Todd Christmas Clatter saying hello as well, saying hi to Sammy. Hassan is in the house. Let's see this. All right, there we are. Kevin Cox as well. Everybody's saying hi to everybody. I love it. Love it. That's why I said Camera Junkie crew coming in strong. Caleb's in the house. And here we have KP, Mr. Convos, saying here before Tom. That's awesome. That's super funny. It says Christmas in September. Yeah, actually, Christmas every Friday night, guaranteed, at the channel Peter Gregg Live. And that has a lot of history behind it, because without that channel, I wouldn't be here today. You know, it's what actually got everything rolling, and that's where I actually was first able to meet Tom Buck. Our first conversation and just, you know, greetings and saying hi was in the chat of Peter Gregg Live on the Friday night Christmas room, and that's what we're going to be talking about. Says Sammy Superman. Tom says, I need the deets on this visit. Absolutely. Oh, it was so much fun. And Tom, I'm glad that you're here, because it's like I was like in like a Disneyland, like in an adult Disneyland, so to speak, like for like everything Christmas and everything wholesome that is Peter Gregg. It was just absolutely awesome. I was in awe. Sammy, Caleb saying hi to Sammy. What is this? Oh, we're gonna have to change that right now. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. I need to change this font here. Aiden is making all kinds of noise today. Let's leave it at that. Okay, we'll work with that. Okay, Luis Lazuka is in the house. How are you doing, sir? Welcome to the live stream. Okay, so everybody's still saying hi. Says rain on the Bucks game tonight. I guess. Inspirational Connection TV. This is Samantha. How are you? Welcome. Kim Booch is in the house. Actually, Kim, let me see. I need to check this out. So much going on. Why can't I find you over here? There you are. Also part of the wrench crew, so I wanted to make sure that I had you here. Thank you for always being present and being part of the Camera Junkie crew. And also, you know, everything that, you know, we shared in the behind the scenes at Leap Into Live, like that's just you and everybody that's part of that crew. I need to get all of your URLs and put them in so that whenever you're here, you already know that, you know, mad respect. I appreciate all of you guys. All right. She was saying hi to everyone. Randall is in the house. How are you, sir? Thank you as always for stopping by. Put it over your beard. Put what over my beard? The buy me a coffee sign. No, we'll deal with that later when I'm not talking, when I'm not checking the messages. Saying hi to Kombucha. Everybody's saying hi to everyone. Rob, what's up, Rob? How are you doing, sir? I know for a fact that you're tearing it up in Clubhouse. I just want to, you know, now that I have you here to say, I'm like so like I don't know if it's proud, but yeah, like proud that you found something that was your niche and you stuck with it, and that you're doing such good things with it. You know, I'm always like getting notifications, and I've always missed them just because of the schedule of that. You know, life hacks for night owls. Absolutely awesome. I love what you're doing over there, man. I'm glad to see you here. He's saying hi to everyone. Just wanted to give Keith a win, you know. He's throwing shade. All right. Kids are always the star of the show. Absolutely. Like he stole the show in a Zoom meeting with Tom just this last week. Everybody was like, "Oh my god!" Like Aiden, I'm like, I know, but he's my miracle guy. Okay, Chocolate Twist Yoga say, "Hey Lewis and Aiden, good evening to good people." Says, "Bro, I had to watch a dang tongue twist video on explosive space modular." I don't know exactly what. I think he's talking about your latest video, Tom. Matt is also in the house saying hello to everyone. Says, "Please correct this." No, that is the correct spelling. So Callie, you got it right. I just checked. It's A-Dan, D-A-N, not D-E-N. So I appreciate it, but it wasn't even the biggest thing. I don't get that caught up into those things because the sentiment, you know, is like the feeling that counts. So I always appreciate you. I had to watch it like 5 times. Yeah, he's definitely talking about Tom's video. If you guys have not watched Tom Buck's video from, I believe it was just this last Monday because things happen so fast. But yes, it was just this past Monday, I believe, or Tuesday. Just his latest video of earlier in the week. Absolutely the best to me. You guys can take it on your own. I'm not gonna spoil it. There's, you know, a little digging that you can do, but absolutely one of my favorite videos. And I think it was shown through the enthusiasm that's on Tom's face. And I even called Tom after I saw the video because I had to just actually let him know how like awesome I thought that video was, and that sometimes we have to make videos, or basically the conversation ended up saying that you can't always pay attention to the analytics, because if you pay attention to the analytics too much, then what ends up happening is that you actually internalize like that negative feeling, and then that could convey in your next video, which could lead to sort of like a negative spiral, which is where I actually think he did quite the opposite. He made a video where it just showed all enthusiasm and it was so much fun. Actually, his latest video was about the low profile boom arm. That's actually the last video that Tom made. Correction, the one before that. So check that one out. Mario is in the house saying hello to me and to friends. Had to deal with a major leak in my studio. Give me 1 second. Just double checking on Aiden, making sure everything's a-okay. Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate it. It takes a few views to fully understand the power of the encabulator. There you go, the encabulator video. Oh, like, guys, if you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. It says, oh, Lewis, no, thank you, Kim. The video was hilarious, but definitely a great watch. Yes, it was. I was actually mad at Tom because when it was over, it was like, what the freak? It was perfect for bed. Oh, then it did its job. It did its job. Sir. That's too funny. Let's see. Nope, that's definitely not changing in size. All right. So we're at that. That was the last comment. We all know that that's all in jest. That Mr. KP is not really upset. Says Aiden is back there on Amazon ordering stuff. Let's hope not. Because I have to fit the bill. All right. Well, let's get to it. What happened this week and how did I get to the Christmas room? Well, this goes back a little bit because one of the guys that's here in chat, Todd, we met through the Just Create More community on the Mighty Networks. That's Tom and Heather's network. It's such an amazing community there. And we were doing the Zoom breakout rooms and we were able to just communicate. He has an entire channel that's based around Christmas, and it's basically a podcast that now he's bringing into a YouTube channel. So as we were talking about that, like, me and Tom were just messaging each other and saying, like, I think that Todd should meet Peter, like, it's just like two peas in a pod. So I also brought that up to Todd, and luckily Todd, being all things Christmas, knows about Peter Gregg and the Christmas room. So when it was mentioned, he was like all up for it. He's like, absolutely. So I gave Peter Gregg a call to see if I can get him in contact with Todd. Even though I gave Peter a call, wasn't the right timing. You okay, buddy? All right. I'm watching. So it wasn't the right timing. So he didn't pick up the call, and with everything that life throws in our way, got busy with so many other things. Did Leap into Live, which consumed 84 hours in 4 days. It's just my own issues with the alternator on my car went out, so I had to get that replaced. Luckily, I have the ability to do those things myself to save a lot of money. So I was able to get the help of my father and have him just take me to the auto parts store once I had everything disassembled while I was moderating Leap into live stream. So that was fun. But with all that out of the way, now comes this week, and it was during the week where it just spawned on me to, hey, give Peter a call again, try to reach out to him for Todd. And now we backtrack a little bit that Peter Gregg hosts the Friday night live streams, and he uses a lavalier microphone that was giving him problems, and I had offered to help him out, seeming that he's here in Miami, Florida, a while ago, and he also just never got in contact with me. Come to find out that he was trying to get in contact with me, but he was like messaging the wrong number. But now comes that I remember to call him again for Todd, so I'm able to reach him now. once I get him on the phone, I am talking to him about Todd and his podcast and wanting to get in contact with him. That's when he was like, "Hey, I know that you're on the road, Lewis, because you do the mobile iPhone repair." He's like, like, how far do you come out? He asks me. Like, how far in Miami do you come out? And I'm like, wow. I said, right now I'm on Douglas and 37th Avenue in the Palmetto, And he was like, oh, that's like, that's like very close to where I'm at right now. And I'm like, I'm here finishing up a repair. I said, I'm probably going to be done in about a half an hour from now because I just got here. I said, I can give you a call as soon as I'm done, and maybe you can shoot me over your address and I can go over there because, he was asking if I was able to drive down to him because he needed help with his microphone. So that's why he was asking me, like, do you come down this way? Because he just wanted to see if that was something that I could do for him. And I was like, absolutely. And once he realized that I was very close, he was like, absolutely, you must come this way because you're so close to where I'm at right now. So right there, I finished the repair. He texted me his address and I drove over right away. And I even took like a selfie video on my cell phone, right before I went into the house. I was like, I never thought that I was gonna like be at the Christmas room. And even today when I called him, I was calling for Todd, not even for myself. So it was just like amazing. And as always, Aiden is with me all the time. So whenever I hit the road, Aiden is with me. And I was lucky enough to be able to be invited inside, and he gave me the grand tour. He showed me, like I had mentioned Tom before, about like the 3 different versions, and explained to me the 3 different versions of the Christmas room. The original, the one that I got to see first, which was the room where it was kind of like in the middle, and it was the bigger room. That's the one that he did the majority of his live streams when he was doing them like consecutively. Like he did like 30 in a month, when he was first starting out, because he was trying to figure out everything when it came to live streaming. And when he was doing all that room now is, he transferred all of like the cameras and everything to a room where it's a little bit more secure and like out of the way. Because what I realized now was that main big Christmas room that I was first privy to was his main, it's almost like the living room of the house as well. That's why it had the big Christmas tree. It was the gathering place, but it being the gathering place also led it to be like the place where everything kind of joins at from the house, so you can reach that destination from pretty much any location in the house. And then I was able to go into the now Christmas room, the one that we see every Friday night, where he has all of his multiple cameras set up. And for those of you who don't know, this guy, he's got quite a setup. He's got a set of like 4 to 5 cameras, usually running all the time. He's even added up to like 7 or 8, I believe. He's got a M1 Mac Mini with basically like a breakout PCI Express to USB-C box that he's connected a 4K 4 HDMI capture card, so he's able to connect 4 cameras. And with eCam, through that setup, he's able to just switch the cameras randomly without a problem. So it's so many things that he's able to do. And as I said, he was just giving me the grand tour, and I was just sitting there like in awe, like, because I've seen it so many times. And to know the history of Peter Gregg as a photographer here in Miami, Florida, and what he's done as a content creator, what he's done as a live streamer, and what he's done for me personally. Because as I've mentioned before, I think Peter was the first one to see any like he saw the possibility in me before even I did. He was one that he saw what I was doing in my channel when I was first starting out. Literally, when I was making videos past midnight before I was even ever thinking of a live stream. And he took it upon himself to, like take my channel and, like highlight it on one of his live streams. And those little things go a long way. And to now have it be full circle after the whole lockdowns and everything, to be able to get the opportunity to meet the man, the myth, the legend. And he is as nice in person as you see him on camera. Such an amazing individual and such a caring, giving heart that I'm forever indebted to Peter. And while we were there, he gave me like the grand tour. He turned on every light, he turned on all the bubble lamps, everything. I got to see Myrtle, the microphones, like everything that we see on the Friday night live stream, I was able to experience live. And then that's when he showed me his broken lavalier microphone, or the cable connection for it. And he had it taped up with like duct tape and all this stuff, and I tried to get as much of the tape off of it to see what I could, but the adhesive itself had like just interwoven within the cables, so even when I got to the cables, they were just like completely covered and just like covered over with, like that adhesive itself. So I wasn't able to really diagnose anything there, but he said that it was working, but that it was loose there. I said, okay, I'm just gonna take this part, and I left the receiver. Then that's when I brought it back here. When I started doing tests here, I got zero sound out of the microphone, and what I was hoping was that the cables themselves were still in working condition, and maybe all I had to do was just like fix the actual cable covering itself and just reinforce the plastic there. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case. I called him right away and I told him, hey, it looks like the microphone's gonna have to go under the knife. And he was very cool with it. As always, like I said, he's super nice. He was just telling me that he was probably gonna do the Friday live stream completely on Myrtle, that condenser microphone, and that, whenever I was able to have it ready, I'd be able to do it, to just like drop it off. After that, once we settled that, and I was gonna now take the microphone with me, was when we continued the tour. And as Aiden was hanging around there, just playing on the floor, being his usual quiet self, as you can see, he's just there now, just being awesome. Peter Gregg said, oh, he loves children, so he was just enthralled with Aiden, and Aiden being so chill and so just like relaxed, and mostly wanting to be with me because he didn't really recognize the environment. Peter was just trying to be the best host as possible and try to like get something to just spark his curiosity. And one of the things ended up being was the piano. And Aiden has his little play pianos here, which are plastic and everything like that, but the difference is that no matter how soft or how hard you hit the key, you're gonna get the same exact tone and sound out of all of these plastic childlike devices. So once he got in front of the piano and we sat him down, I noticed an instant difference. He was really captivated with it, and even though he had his previous experience with his toys, he knew more or less, but it wasn't like he just started like just banging or playing like a normal kid would do. Aiden has his challenges, he has his limitations, but it was like he sat there and he started studying every note and recognizing that if he were to hit the key hard, it would get a different sound. If he would hold it down, it would get a completely different sound. If he hit it soft, it was a completely different sound. So he was just like studying the entire keys and the entire piano. And for me, which it's hard for us to get an exact diagnosis of what he's dealing with because he doesn't speak. That limitation doesn't really allow for, ironclad diagnosis of what we're dealing with all of Aiden's challenges. And because of that, there's certain things that, even though have not been medically diagnosed, lead me to believe that he's also like on the autistic spectrum. But like I said, that's still not completely diagnosed because he doesn't talk. So that's a much bigger hurdle to deal with than that. But the way that he reacts to certain things is what leads me to believe that he is on that spectrum as well. And with that, there's certain, it's kind of like hard to keep his attention. It's hard to keep him focused and to have him on one thing, and just quiet and just learning that instrument for as long as he did. And we were there for probably like a good 15 minutes of just him just being on the piano. I was so like moved emotionally because I never saw that from my baby boy, and to see that, like, I'm trying not to get worked up right now, but it was a very beautiful experience for me. And Peter also recognized that, and he's such an amazing person that he knew where we were sitting, and so he just said like, hey, stay right there, like, don't move. And the photographer in him just came right out, and he turned on his eCam and just started recording with his multiple cameras and adjusted it and took some photographs kind of like from the motion picture, and was able to share that with me. And that's an amazing memory that now I will forever have, that in my first experience to, in meeting Peter Gregg and seeing the Christmas room, I was able to get such a beautiful memory for me about my baby boy and his first experience on a piano. And a beautiful Wurlitzer piano that Peter has there. And for that, like I said, another reason why I will forever be indebted to that man. I thank him so much. And Peter, if you're here, thank you once again. Also gave me the ability to work on his microphone, and I was happy to do so for what he has done for so many. And I brought it here, put it under the knife, didn't get any readings, and had to break it down to like the bare minimum, just where it was just like I had to cut out all the bad cable, start new, and also take the entire jack itself down to like the bare metal where I literally saw just the connections, resoldered from there, and then started rebuilding out kind of like the connection at the end there, with shrink wrap tubes. So let me get them, right? Because they're right here. This could be like a tip of the day. We haven't done one of those tips of the day in a long time. So let me put this up here. There we go. Okay. Heat shrink tubes. As you can see, as I labeled there, heat shrink tubes is we use in electronics all the time. Whenever you do a soldering connection on a cable, basically you get one of these little silicone sleeves here, right? Let's see if we can get a good image of it. And it's just basically a tube, right? Now you would put this in one of the ends of the cable first, and as it's in there, you make your soldering connection. And now that you finish the connection, you want to seal it, you just put this over the connected soldering joint, and you heat it up with you could use a blow dryer, you could even use a lighter. Don't recommend it, but a heat gun, light heat on it will shrink it up really nice and good, and then it preserves your connections. The hack that I give to you is how I use them in my everyday, because this is how I prevent from breaking a lot of my 3.5 millimeter connections. So one that I haven't done, but just to give you an example, I will take, I'm not sure exactly which size this is. It says 45 millimeter. So I'm guessing that that's the radius, but I digress. This size right here says 45 millimeter, right? 6 by 45. Okay, so it's a 6 millimeter tube by 45 millimeter in length. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay, so the 6 millimeter tube here I use for all of my cable connections. So to give you an example, here is the infamous, let's get that in there, the infamous Apple connection, right? The little, lightning dongle. And right here, right there, that's the weak spot. And that's where you're going to create most of the damage, and that's most likely where it's going to break. So the hack is you would actually take this tube and you would put it over, and this one doesn't fit this one. Great. Okay, so we would go one size up, and you would just fit this over here. Come on. Being so weak now. There we go. See if we can get that to show. All right. And now that we have that there, what you can do is like I said, you could take a blow dryer. I wouldn't recommend a lighter. You could do a lighter, but what you do is that you apply heat to this little groove, and what it's going to do is it's going to shrink. And if you do it correctly right there at the end, what you do is that you reinforce that end so that whenever you were to pull this out to disconnect, instead of pulling on the actual cable itself, you'd end up pulling on this red plastic part, which is actually pulling from the connection itself. So you're not putting the cable at risk. And doing that to like all of my 3.5 millimeter cables with these heat shrink tubes ends up saving my cables like pretty much indefinitely. So it's a great hack that I use for all of those, and that's gonna stay there until I get my heat gun out later after I'm done with the stream. So that one's already done, and I'll leave that for later, but that is a good hack. You know what? Let me show you another one that I've already done to show you how it looks finished. Okay. So that's one of like my jacks as soon as it's finished, and you can see the cable comes out from it, but whenever I disconnect, I'm pulling on the blue, which pulls the jack from the head correctly instead of pulling it on the cable, which is what's going to cause all of the damage. So with that being said, that's pretty much what I ended up having to do. I used a multiple of these heat shrink tubes in succession, going from smaller to bigger until I rebuilt the complete end on the lavalier microphone for Peter Gregg. And after testing, everything came out successful, and I was able to return it to him Friday afternoon so that he had it ready for the evening. After that, that's when things took a worse turn for myself, because that's when my car started giving overheating issues. And I thought I was taking care of it, but it was just an entire mess, and it had me pulling over like every 6 minutes to kind of refill it with water. And I'm looking into it some more, but that was pretty much my Friday. That like Peter Gregg goes live at 10 o'clock, and I got here like 15 minutes before he went live. Like I think I got here 20 minutes before 10. But that's another story, right? And with that being said, that is pretty much my introduction to Peter Gregg. Actually, let me go back and say a little more. When I brought back the microphone, Aiden was also able to play a little bit more on the piano. While he was there playing on the piano, he had a little faux pas where he fell down. We talked about it on Peter's live stream yesterday. He's absolutely fine. He's a trooper, and like I said, he's about to make a mess. That's what he's about to do. So hold right there. I'm gonna put the music up a little bit, and I'll be right back. Okay, I need to really get a be right back screen. That's next on the list. For all things associated with Aiden. Okay, so once I was returning the microphone to Peter Gregg and Aiden was playing on the piano, Peter so graciously gifted me a loaf of butter bread, of like his butter bread, which he makes off of his other channel, which is Peter Gregg's Kitchen. I was able to bring that, and it's in the freezer. I can't wait to get my hands on that. I'm super excited, and that meant so much to me, because like to have him, I get to get like a piece of Peter Gregg's Kitchen as well. I'm just still like in awe with the entire experience and the ability to meet such an amazing individual. I still am humbled and so grateful for Peter Gregg, and it was like so awesome that now I got to solidify such an amazing friendship that was established online. With that being said, another thing that I'm attempting to do is do that with a lot more people coming to Albany, and the People of Video conference happening the 8th, 9th, and 10th of this following month, which is basically like 2 weeks away. There's so much that's been going on, and right now the pieces are starting to fall into place for that to come to fruition as well. It was something that I had put out that I was like, this is something that I want to do because I want to meet so many people, including like Doc Rock, which I am also fortunate to be working like one-on-one with, and to know that he's coming all the way from Hawaii all the way to the East Coast. Like, there's no way that I wasn't gonna make my biggest, most valiant effort to try to meet the man over here, because I don't know when I'm gonna have the ability to go to that small island of Hawaii. So definitely didn't want to miss this opportunity, and that's just one of many other amazing people, creators from this community, and from it's just an amazing event. And now I'm in the works of just working out my tickets, and one thing has led to another, where now I even have a space available as far as room and board. So what I'm working on now is basically how am I gonna get to the conference, you know, my transportation. And Doc was mentioning something about the Nixons, and to see that they were gonna, I think they might be driving. If they are driving, that could be something that is I'm just gonna have to get in contact with them as well. And if you don't know who the Nixons are the lovely people who provide you everything from Press and Sew, including this mug, available now at pressandsew.com/MCJ for Mr. Camera Junkie, and all of the Camera Junkie merch, including the shirts, Upgrade Your Skills, all available from the pressandsew.com website. So they are the Nixons. They're up here in Jacksonville, but I need to get in contact with them first because I don't want to impose at all. It's just something that Doc mentioned earlier today in his live stream, and I'm very fortunate that now I also have like my ticket secured for the event. So as always, Aiden is gonna be with me most likely throughout the whole thing, because there's not a day or a place that goes where Aiden is not by my side. He's my co-pilot, he's the boss. and that's another thing, that anyone that will be able to make that event as well will also get the ability to meet Aiden as well. My reason for doing everything that you see here, like the number one reason, because I don't do this for myself. Everything that I'm doing and that I'm accomplishing here within the channel, within the community, is all for the betterment and for the best life that I can provide for that little guy. Because to me, he deserves the world. He's my miracle man, and he's the reason why I do what I do. So I'm gonna see if you guys have any questions about what exactly was English, Lewis. English is hard today. Okay, so I'm gonna see if you guys have any questions or comments about what I just said, or because I probably missed some stuff. So much has happened. So let's see exactly where we left off. Okay, this is where we left. Aiden was back there ordering stuff on Amazon. Okay. Thomas smiling. Okay, Roxanne is here. Welcome. How are you doing? Thank you for making the live stream. This is awesome. Says totally agree with the combos. It goes, let's talk PG and the Christmas room. Okay, Aaron's here. Aaron, talking about that, sir. We were talking about the cameras. Side note, now that we're here in chat, let me know now in the comments if you were able to change the settings on the camera that we were talking about, because I know for a fact that I can guide you through getting rid of your moire, because the moire that you experience on your clothing, I experience on my clothing as well when I go 4K, and even in my beard. So trust me, that's why I have everything being pumped out at 4K, but my cameras themselves, including this one right here, they're set at 1080 high definition. But what happens is that when you set these cameras to 1080, you effectively remove the moire, because that's an effect that's highly prevalent when you're in the 4K output setting. But then when you put it into eCam, it's basically going to take your 1080 and upscale it to 4K. So when you upscale it to 4K, then you're going to get the highest quality out of that 1080 image. So the image output is still 4K, but what you do is that you effectively give like a softer image, a softer skin, softer look altogether, without having the need of like pro mist filters and things like that, because you're literally softening the image through the codecs that you're exporting out there. So with that being said, let me know if what I mentioned to you in the chat helped you out, and if you were able to do it. And if not, like I said, you can DM me, or maybe we can take care of this right now, because I would love to help you with your cameras and your moire. All right, Kippy's in the house, saying hi to me, Aiden, and everyone. Says that's cool. Has become a gathering place. His online community too. Yes, but he's such an amazing man, and I can't wait to get some of that butter bread because it's frozen. So I need to let it thaw out and then just finish baking it and then toasting it. Oh, I'm excited. And I also told him that the next time that he makes fudge, he needs to separate some on the side already because now I know where he lives. So it's a simple little like just drive over there and be like, yo, I need to just pick up my little, my little fudge on the side. Dr. Elo's in the house. What's up, man? Dr. Elo has like all of the voice sound effects and everything in his streams. Is always a lot of fun. How are you doing, bro? He's saying hi to everyone. Because this is so awesome, Mr. Camera Junkie. Great story. Thank you. Hopefully I was able to convey it because I am working on my storytelling skills. So it's something that I'm trying to work on as well. Jim Mundy. Wow. Thank you for stopping by. It says good evening all. Thank you. And thank you for saying hi. Welcome to the Camera Junkie crew. I believe this is the first time I see you here. And we have the convo saying all switching to Mr. Camera Junkie on the TV in bed. Okay. Dr. Elo saying hi to Stephanie, to KP. It's Samantha. Listen to me, Stephanie. Sorry. A lot going on right now. It's a real show, then put it on TV show. The combos. Oh, so now I'm legit. That's what you're saying, Sammy? It's a real TV show now that the Cowboys put me on TV? I second that. Says, I love this whole story. Such a cool experience. Right? I'm like, I was in shock. Even Peter Gregg was making fun of me because he's like, okay, come on, it's like time to go. And I'm like, okay. And I have like Aiden in my hand. I just stood there for like an extra second, just like looking at his entire setup, just trying to soak it all in, like the behind the scenes. And then he was like, do you want to take a picture? Like, no, not necessary. Just let me enjoy it. It's so much fun. It's just like I said, such a cool experience. Says, what a moving story and experience. Yes. When I saw Aiden playing the piano, and now even Peter saw it himself. Peter's like, Peter knows Aiden now. And Aiden knows Peter, and that's also something that's like will forever be with me, because Aiden's been with me always, as always. So every live stream, every Friday night that he hears, they're like, hey, Peter Gregg from Miami, Florida, and you hear that intro and everything is like he was there to see it, and I also have some like a small video clip and some photos of the experience as well that I said that means so much to me. Awesome. Watching the shrink wrap shrink is very satisfying. Actually, yeah, you know what? That could be a new channel, right? Just shrink wrap everything. That's actually not a bad coin to hear. If you see something around there, you might, I might end up doing one of these faceless channels, just heat shrink wrapping everything. Okay, Caleb saying hi to Dr. Elo. Says Doc is amazing. Says, are you flying down? No, I don't know. Like, I'm still working all that out. I had put the budget down for like the airfare and the hotel and everything like that. But in all sincerity, like a lot of life things got in the way. I wasn't trying to bring it up or anything like that, but my brother also in this past week, he ended up in the hospital for a diabetic issue, and he wasn't doing well, and come like Monday night or Tuesday night, he was diagnosed with pneumonia, and then with pneumonia, like his heart stopped, and then they had to put him in the ICU, and he had to then go under tubes, and we weren't sure exactly what was going on. And then we just got some news, like we got a video of him doing better, and that he's fighting, and that he's already on the road to recovery. So that was one of the things that had me kind of down, when you're trying to stay upbeat with everything, and life really puts it very difficult. Not only did it put me down, on a personal level, but it also made me think, like, is what I wanted, which is like this whole trip to People of Video, even going to be possible with the situation? So not knowing exactly what was coming, but also being ready for anything that was that could have happened. It's like I said, it's not the best place to be in mentally, and that's been going on amongst other things, amongst completely other things that life has cooked up specifically for me in the past like 3 weeks to a month, honestly, and it's all been tough. But that's why I also always tell all of you here that I appreciate all of you so much, because this is my happy place. Shout out to Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore. The reason why is because this is what I want to do. So, for example, there's people who, when life gets tough, they'll be like, listen, you know what? I just need to go out for the weekend. I just want to go out, have a night where I'm not thinking about all the troublesome things and stuff like that, and just get my mind off things, just so that I can relax, right? This is what this is for me. And that's why I appreciate it and love it so much. I love all of you who are here hanging out, Camera Junkie crew, because it just, I am where I am the happiest, right? Like I'm happiest here, like speaking with all of you, hanging out with like-minded individuals and the crew. So if somebody were to say like, oh, I need to go out and hang out with my boys, like that's what I feel that I do every Saturday here. I hang out with my people, like, like the boys, however they say it. I don't even know, I'm so like outdated and out of touch, but that's just the way that I feel, so once again, thank you, because you guys make a tough life a whole lot easier. Because that's all it is, and I'm not saying that it's easy for a lot of people. It's tough for a lot of people, and we've lost a lot of people in this lockdown time and the whole situation. I almost lost my brother this week, and I thank you for being here, because you make things a lot easier. Thank you. It says, can you drive down? Well, look, Sammy, going back to this, I believe Doc was mentioning, saying like all I have to do is get to Orlando, which Orlando's a 3-hour trip, and I could spend 4 hours, 5 hours easily in my car doing phone repairs, just because I got stuck in traffic. So a 3-hour trip to Orlando is like a hop skip for me, in all sincerity, for someone who does the majority of their business in a vehicle. So I still need to work those things out, but if that's an option that I can take, I'm gonna see what options I have available to me to make this happen. Because before any of this even happened, I had even called my aunt, which she lives like an hour away from Albany, but even her, I was like, hey, if I had like worst case scenario, need a place to crash on a couch for like a night or two. Is that okay? And she was like, absolutely. And that's all I needed, because even to that is the level of commitment that I'm working with, of trying to get me to that event. So now that like Leap into Live and a lot of these things are just done and over with, and literally this week, even though I had stuff to take care of, was also like a week of recovery. I'm ready to just put that into gear and see what I could accomplish, and that being my next goal. Okay, it says wait, they are driving. I think we're talking about the Nixons. I actually, Mississippi. It says I will actually message Sylvia. You gave me an idea. Okay, I don't know exactly what you're saying. It says I thought Aiden was with his mom's house on the weekends. We all thought, but life changes and situations change, and that's one of the hard things that I've been having to deal with from even before my brother being hospitalized. But yes, one thing that Aiden could always do is count on me. Count on that. I will never let him down. So when all else fails, and that's why he's here. That's why he's hanging out. But in that reason is also why I'm most likely gonna need to take Aiden with me to Albany, because I'm not gonna have the assistance that I would have relied on to take that time off by myself, and also feel that my boy is gonna be in the best interest for Aiden, which is my main concern at all times. Paul says he's lucky to have you as a dad. Thank you, guys. Says I was not. I don't think it's possible. Well, I know it's possible because I'm doing it right now, and I'm using Ecamm. So, and we're talking about the A7C. Yep. I will have, and that's why I said I could be wrong. I stand to be corrected if there is that much of a change in the menu. But I would love for you, Aaron, to message me so that you can maybe even show me some pictures of what you see in the menu, and I can tell you where to go, so that you can get that setting done correctly. Oh, Doc Rock is in the house. Says, what it do, beef stew. Talking about that. Yo, when Tom Buck said that in your live stream today, I was cracking up because I was like, that is so Doc Rock. What it do, beef stew? Oh, here he is. Peter Gregg said, hi, folks. Is that Aiden I hear in the back? He's an awesome kid. Yes, he is here. And hopefully you heard about what I said about you and about this week. If not, you're going to have to catch the replay, Peter. I think the 4K Elgato dongle just sends a feed straight out 4K. I can't imagine it's possible. Okay, it's gonna send out the image 4K, right? Let's say you don't change that, because I didn't change that, and right now I'm using the Elgato 4K. So what you're seeing right now is 4K. Actually, let me correct myself. What you're seeing is 1080 high definition going into the Elgato 4K. So now, if the Elgato 4K takes the 1080 image and upscales it to the 4K to then be input into, Ecamm, into your computer, so on and so forth, you can't get more than what the camera is giving. And what I'm trying to explain is that the moire that you're seeing is not being caused by the cam link. It's being caused by the camera. So right now, in the same exact setup, I don't have moire. I really don't have a shirt to show it, unless I were to pull out another one of my shirts. Hey, buddy, come on. Let's not make a mess. Let's leave that there. That's nice and folded. Come on. All right. Well, here we have Aiden making his guest appearance. Hey, come on, say hi. Aiden, come on, say hi. Say hi. Look, you're right there. Look at that. And you know who's there? Look. His picture's right there. Let me bring it up. He's saying hi to you. Look, that's Peter. Look, you saw? I hope you saw that, Peter. He smiled and recognized you, saying, yeah, because you just played his piano. And I was letting everybody know such a good job of how you did playing his piano. Good job, Ray. All right. Now behave while I finish the live stream. And that's Aiden, for those of you who haven't met. That's my miracle man. And I hope you saw that, Peter, how he recognized your avatar. So, going back to that before Aiden interrupted my attention, the moire will be caused by the camera itself. So if I had a shirt that would actually cause moire, like my gray shirt that I have running around here somewhere, if I were to move my camera and I were to change the codecs, you know, that the file format from, you know what? Let me just explain it. If anything, I might even have a way to show it to you. But you would change the file format from the 4K to the HD mode. Then when you actually look at your frame rates of how like you would be able to do like your 24 frames a second, 30 frames a second, once you go into that, then you will see that you have a lot more options in the high definition comparative to the 4K, because the 4K in the camera will only give you 24 or 30p. But whenever you want to reach frame rates of 60 and 120, which I believe those cameras do natively, in the high definition 1080, you're gonna have to change the file format in the Sony menu first. You change that from 4K to the HD, so it's the XAVCS HD setting. Once you put it there, you go back into your frame rates and you will see all the options of 24, and you're gonna have variable megabyte options. So you're gonna see 24 and probably like in maybe 50 megabytes and then 100 megabytes, because if you're talking about the full frame, so that's most likely what you would be talking about when it comes to the actual file sizes. So you'd be shooting in 24 frames either in 50 megabytes or 100 megabytes, and it would be the same option for the 30, 60, and then the high definition would also be, I mean, the 120 frames probably only have one option at 100 megabytes, which is probably its max load per, you know, megabit per second in the file rate. Then once you have that set, you set everything adjusted. You would see that everything in high definition, either 30 or 24p, will not give you the moire that you're experiencing in 4K. Once the camera is no longer producing the moire image because it's in the camera, it doesn't matter how much upscale the Elgato 4K Camlink or anything could do to that image, the moire would not exist from the get-go. So hopefully I was able to convey that even with the interruption. Paul saying Doc is in the house. Says, I see my name is on the show. LOL. I got to meet Aiden this week and his dad came along too. I love it. Okay, Melanie's in the house saying hello to everyone. How are you doing, Melanie? Welcome once again. Says, I used to shrink wrap these Alright, Doc. Oh no, hope your brother feels better, man. He's doing better, you know. I really don't want to talk about it because everything's up in the air, and the way the hospitals and everything work is not like there's really anything that I can do, even visit him. So, you know, before that even happened and things took like that turn for the worst, which we're over and we're past that now. Just the day before, I was bringing him some stuff to the hospital so that he can make his stay a little bit easier, you know, try to make it a little bit more comfortable. But I wasn't able to see him even if I wanted to. I just had the ability to like bring him some stuff and leave it there assigned to his room number so that a nurse could then take it to him. And that's the whole thing. So the fact that I was able to see a video of my brother and see that he's doing better was very good for not only me but for my father, because my father is the one that I worry for the most. We already lost my sister 3 years ago. Lost my mother's mother 2 years ago, and my mother last year. To be on the brink of losing my brother this year is really tough, and I feel for my father. I think as a father myself, and not really much that you can say there, right? Because it's my brother and it's my father. So it's just a really tough situation, but I'm glad that we're already more towards the positive. So, like I said, I didn't mention it because I didn't even know what I was going to mention, but now I'm happy to mention that we're past like maybe the worst part now, and we just have to a better recovery for him to look forward to. So that would be amazing. Channels and social media empire, heat shrink wrapping, and time lapses. Right? Sometimes those little things are the things that take off, right? You never know. Wishing and praying for your brother recovers well. Thank you. Yep, and that was also really cool. I did mention that to Peter Gregg, and he also took it upon himself to pray for me, for Aiden, and for my brother. So once again, much appreciated, Peter. Like I said, I appreciate all of so many things that you do. So thank you. Says, so sorry about your brother. I hope he continues to recover. You don't have to share those things publicly if you don't want, but there are a lot of people here who care about you, who you can talk to. No, I know, but I also do want to share these things publicly. If there was something that I didn't want to, this is my story, and that's why I said, like, I'm able to share the highs and the lows, because the lows are what makes the highs worth it. It's the contrast. So thank you, but I also appreciate all of you guys for being here. This is family, so I don't see that I'm not just sharing it with family. So thank you. Many thoughts and prayers. Thank you. So sorry to hear that. My thoughts. So, thank you, Kevin. Let's make sure everybody has that like. Yeah, we have 19 people here watching in chat. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit the like button. It goes a long way. It's highly appreciated. So we're getting some messages here. Alright. Nano is in the house. Tech for your needs, saying hello. Anita Lee Candidly says, I love the way that you stay with your love. Life keeps happening and you don't forget your vision. Absolutely. That's absolutely the truth. Thank you, Sammy. Nano says, for those of you who don't know, this is Tech for Your Needs. His name is also Luis, like me, but he also has a nickname, Nano. So that's how I always, this family, I'm going to call you by your nickname, T-Buck over here, and Nano. Doc Rock, T-Buck, Sammy Supernap, everybody's in the house. He says, I bought the ZV-1. Nice. Did you get that Ulanzi adapter, or are you okay with the focal length as is? Because I actually some people say like, oh, I want it wider. I don't know. I don't think I have freakishly long arms, right? But whenever I take my A6100, even with the kit lens at 16 and 24, it being a 24, I'm like, 24 is... I think 24 is good for vlogging. 20 max. When you get past that, I think is when you're getting way too fisheye. But If you can get wider without it being, you know, fisheye lens, then I'm good with the look, so to speak. Okay, so Caleb's saying hi and saying, how are you liking it? He says, I just got it today. It's a great camera, man. And to tell you the truth, the frame rate that you get out of it, because it being a 1-inch sensor and being a backside illuminated stacked sensor, you get some really, really good slow motion. And the best slow motion, I believe, is not even the 940, but the 240. Actually, I think it's 960 frames a second for like 1 second, but it's really degraded quality. You get full 1080 HD in 240 frames a second, which is actually really good. You slow that to like 10% and it's like you're creaky. You're just like, so trust me, really good slow motion and very good compact camera. Also, another thing, because I helped out Professor Nez, and I know for a fact I was also I was also able to help D Niman just this past week with his charging issues, because he was always mentioning in his live streams, he's like, oh, I get like 2.5 hours with my batteries on my ZV-1, because he has that same camera. And he goes, and then I have to change batteries. And I was just thinking that he was changing batteries. And then he said that, yeah, because I have it plugged in on the trickle charge and I have to change batteries every 2.5 hours. I was like, what? I was like, no, definitely he's not doing something right. And we got down to it. He was plugging it into like those white brick 5-volt USB chargers from Apple. You know, the white Apple bricks. Those are not amps enough to actually do a correct trickle charge onto these cameras. So, you know, after we spoke about it, I told him you need to make sure that it's at least 1.5 amps on the brick itself to be going out to the camera with the 5 volts, because the amps is what's going to give it enough juice in the 5 volts to keep the battery like as charged as possible using that method. So I ran a test, and on my A6100 over here, this camera right here, oh, we got a black screen on that one. What happened there? Okay, we'll leave that alone. On that camera right there, I actually was able to get over 48 hours of it being on consecutively with eCam just running in the background, like if I was doing a live stream. 48 hours consecutively on USB trickle power charge, and when I disconnected everything to check it, it had 81%. So it literally used less than 20% of the battery while connected via USB, it being on and running for over 48 hours. So that goes to show you that if you have the settings done correctly, you'll be able to maximize this. That's not a dummy battery. That is just a battery, HDMI video out, and USB trickle charge, and over 48 hours, meaning I can run the camera like that pretty much for a week and still have 10%. Which is ridiculous, right? There's like stupid numbers, right? So it says in a couple of years, Aiden will be a YouTuber. Maybe. Aaron says, please share. I think I did. Let me know if I shared the information about the trickle charge and that's what you were talking about, or if it was something else. Aaron says, nice. I love mine for the out and about, quick and ease of use. Yeah, like it's super compact and just super convenient. I'll tell you the truth, one of the cameras that I've been using the most lately is this NEX6, because of that same reason. Look at this 20mm f2.8 Sony pancake lens. Look at how small this thing is. It's stupid. is stupid small. Like, this thing is like, oh, just nothing, just in my pocket, anywhere, sometimes just right here, and I could just hold on to it while I'm doing other things, and then the next thing you know, it's in the car with me. Means these cameras don't have to come down, and that one's been my my kind of like my daily shooter right now for the Mr. Fix-It. So right now, what you would find in this camera is most likely pictures of camera repairs or broken iPhones. Let me see. Some pictures of Aiden, but yeah, as you can see, this says iPhone disabled. Broken iPhones. Yep, so just taking pictures of my daily repairs. But that's been my my go-to camera right now because it is so small and convenient. So anyone who's got the ZV-E10 and is using it that way, it's definitely got to be using it. I mean the ZV-1, because it is even more compact than that. It says, I don't see anything about changing the video quality. All I see is HDMI 4K 24 or 30 frames per second. Okay, Aaron, and what you're seeing this in the camera? Because I think you're still talking about, if you're talking about in camera, you might be talking about the output settings, you know. And if it's on the output settings, I will tell you to put the output, because that's a completely different part of the settings. That's like what your camera will be outputting. It should be on automatic, so that whatever you set in the camera would be the output that you get. So if you've changed that from auto to 4K, then that could be your issue right away, because you're kind of like forcing the camera to do 4K no matter what you tell it to do. It says, can Aaron hop on and talk with him live through it live? I cannot, because I just realized one thing. I was lucky enough to have been using Ecamm through a trial period, and my trial period was over, so I am a paying member of Ecamm. And what I have is just the standard, so I don't have the pro right now, so I don't have the ability to bring anyone on. So that would have been awesome, because I was gonna try to do some other things, but I realized that now when I just tried to use virtual cam, and I was like, wait, I thought I downloaded virtual cam, and now that's also something that I don't have. So maybe next month. But as of right now, like, I just did like a month to month, because that was also something that I didn't realize, and it was just last week when I went to go live, and then Ecamm was like, you can't go live anymore. I was like, oh, okay, so let me go live. I just pulled out my credit card, and I connected to it, because there's no way I was gonna miss week number 42, right? And for those of you who don't know, week number 43 consecutive. And once again, this is just so awesome. I never would have thought this come 44 weeks ago, right? So to think that I've done 43 consecutive weeks at live streaming every Saturday night still, that's a proud achievement for myself. So, because like I said, it doesn't matter what, like how they say, hell or high water, it doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter what's coming. I will always be live on Saturday nights. Club Camera Junkie. It says, hey Aiden, first time I see him. Oh, well, there you go. I'm glad you were able to see Aiden for the first time. It says, Aiden is an awesome kid. I think so. My mother, before she passed, you know, she was able to meet Aiden. You know, he has his challenges, but she still looked at me and she's like, hey Louis, are you planning on having any other children? And I'm like, you know, things are tough right now with this little guy. That wasn't something that I was thinking about at the moment, especially when she asked me. And she said, well, if you do, just know that it's impossible for you to like hit the lottery with such a mild-mannered, well-tempered kid twice. So if you do decide to have another one, just know that you're in for it, because you don't get this like serenity out of a child twice. She's like, you just don't. So I was like, thanks. Like, but yes, absolutely love my boy. Right now he's just playing, hanging out. Everybody's saying hi to Aiden. I know he steals the show. He's the boss though. I'll tell you the truth. It's also another thing which I also appreciate for all of my Mr. Fix-It clientele, which is my iPhone repair, because he's always with me. So whenever I do need to go out and do a repair for someone, he's in the car seat with me. So when they see him, they're just like, he steals the show. You know, it doesn't matter what service I could provide or how many phones I can fix. As soon as they're the baby, and forget it. It's a good thing, because they just also remember me as the Mr. Fix-It guy with his son in the back seat. You know, so it's like, yeah, there's no way that the boss man isn't over here, you know, just being the manager, just saying, do a good job, Dad. Says the star of the show right there. You got it. Says, I see him. Hi, Aiden. I agree, Doc. Much better looking than Dad. I also say he takes after his mom. He does. Like, even the complexion. He's like my little white boy, because he doesn't have the complexion that I do. He doesn't have the darker skin. Says he stole your show, Mr. Camera Junkie. I know. He always does. Kayla's laughing at Doc. So have a great night. Gotta go. Catch you later. Thank you for stopping by as always. Have a great night, and I'll see you next week. Everybody's saying bye. It says, I'm new to Sony cameras. Will need to learn the menu. Well, if you're like a menu junkie, you know, like if you're a camera junkie like me, when it comes to these menus, I'll sit here, and while I'm watching a television show, or mostly now when I'm watching something on YouTube, I have my camera in my hand and I'm learning all of the menus. Diana Gladney said something which really interested me. It was something that I thought was really cool. She said that if she could have like her dream camera, or not her dream camera, her dream studio would actually be to have like all the history of the Sony mirrorless cameras. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Was to have like all the versions of the Sony cameras, so that if anyone were to ever bring up a question, she can literally just like go to her archive, get the cameras, and just compare them from the old to the new. Like that's pretty cool, especially like me. Like I have something similar, right, where I compare the older cameras and stuff, but I do it as modestly as I possibly can. You know, as far as my limits allow me, but that would be nice to have something like that, like a camera company that you really enjoy and have like every model camera that they have. One that really interested me is that interchangeable lens, like camcorder. It's like a Sony camcorder, and I know you're not gonna get the highest quality bit rates or anything like that, but still, it's one that interests me, because really see what you can do with Sony's new leveled up glass, you know, their new G Master lenses on an older piece of kit like that. Those are things that I like. It says, I hear you, but you don't know where to set it. Sounds promising though. Okay, this is the whole thing. Aaron, I don't know if you have your camera, one of them, maybe you might want to try it. The first setting that you'll be looking at, right, is going to be usually on the second main folder. So you know you're gonna have the first folder, and then you have like 9 or 10 subfolders. That's usually the camera for photography settings. You're also gonna need to go into the second one, which is for the video. That first page should have the two that I'm talking about right on top of each other on the first page. the first one that you're looking for is file format. Look for the file format and change it from the 4K to the HD and start playing with all the different modes. Actually, you know what? I don't have that one. I have this one. See if maybe I can show you. There we go. Let's see what we can do. Okay, this is an even older Sony menu. This is the Sony A7R2. Let me see if we have battery here. Okay, it looks like we do. Boom. Okay, perfect. Okay. It's not going to look the same on your camera, but if you want, you can go through the pages. And what you're going to be looking for is for basically that. You see it says file format, and then it says record setting. Let me make sure we're in focus. See if we got it right. Come on. Okay, you see the first one that says XAVCS 4K? That's the file format. So now, if I were to leave it there, and I would go here and I go to the record setting, I only have the options you see in 60 megabytes or 100 megabytes in 24 frames a second, or the 60 and the 100 and the 30 frames a second. Those are the only options that I have in 4K. But now we're going to hit menu and we're going to take a step back and we're going to jump up to the file format. And from the file format, we're going to change it from the 4K to the XAVCS HD. Boom, high definition. Now, right underneath it, we're going to go right back to where we were. Here we are, record settings. We're going to select it. And now we have the different options. Focus. And as you can see, we have all 50 megabytes, and that's just on this camera. I believe yours is going to give you the options for both 50 and 100. But as you can see, you have all 50, English, Lewis, all 4 different frame rates available to you there, which is the 24, the 30, the 60, and the 120p. And this is the older NPF 50 A7R2. We're already all the way to the R4, and you have an even newer camera. So I know for a fact that that's what you're going to be looking for in your camera to set it. And then you set it to whichever, and you could even try the 60p, because that is I'm still waiting to get some feedback from Homesick Mac, because he was having issues with the fingers while he was playing guitar not being shown correctly. And I think going into the 60 frames a second in high definition using the cam link that way, because it's designed to actually capture 60 frames a second and produce 60 frames a second. That's why I also know that you can put that setting with it and get that to output. And if you wanted to, you could also set eCam to the same settings, and you will be having that link all the way through from camera at 60 frames, Elgato, and eCam all at 60 frames, so that you can produce that type of imagery. So hopefully that helps. And once again, I appreciate you being here, because it just gives me more content to talk about. But if you still need help with it, you know, I'm here for you, bro. Send lots of prayers, speedy recovery for my brother. Sharing and talking to someone always helps. Prayer for you and your brother and your family. Thank you, sir. T Bizzle, absolutely. T Bizzle. I bought to buy the Ulanzi wide angle lens. Okay, so I think that's what you're saying. You say I bought it, or I'm going to buy it. But either way, it's good. You know, if that's the only thing that people really complain about, and be like, oh, I wish it was wider. And with that little thing, it makes it. But you know what? Here's a good illustration, because mine's is not Ulanzi, right? But I do have something similar, right? Camera Junkie, I've had this stuff from before that. I have such a mess on my desk right now. Okay, here it is. This is a newer. So here's the brand. Newer. And this is basically the same thing as the Ulanzi. It's just on a 52 millimeter filter thread. 0.45x super wide converter, but then it also separates right in the middle to still connect and then give you a diopter, giving you macro mode. So basically the same exact thing as the Ulanzi, and I've set that up on the kit lens, the Sony kit lens, and what it does, even if it's a ZV-E10 or whatever, it adds a certain amount of bulk. So this lens already extends, so then by the time it's done, it ends up being like that long out of your camera. You get the look that you want, but it really does protrude sort of like a little bit extra. I think that's why they came out with the ZV-E10. You know, they tried to make the ZV-1 as compact as possible, and then people were saying like, oh, but it's not wide enough, and they decided to throw a piece of glass like this on top of it, and as soon as you do that, you kind of lose all the compactness of that camera, right? So they're like, if they're willing to do that, then why don't we just throw an E-mount on the ZV-E10 and have them even have the ability to use their 10 to 18, which would be extremely wide, and then we have no complaints about the ZV-1 not being wide enough at 24 frames. Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so that was Aiden literally just starting to crash, and I was like, not gonna fall asleep on the floor. So there you go. He's all worn out. That means I'm gonna get a good night's rest tonight. Seeming that he went to sleep at 12:30. That means as soon as I'm done with the stream, I get to go to bed. There's been times where he's fallen asleep before the live stream and then woken up as soon as I'm finishing the live stream. Right now, he's got that little like drowsy face. He'll be asleep in about 5-10 minutes, and then I have a good night to look forward to. So good stuff, good stuff. It says you can even Google the instructions from the manufacturers if you left to man at home. Sony has man as iOS apps too. No way not to know another than not looking. Okay, I apparently forgot how to read now, so that did not come out right. Let's see this. You can even Google the instructions from the manufacturers. If you left to man at home, Sony has mans as iOS apps too. No way to not know other than not looking. Okay. Didn't get it anyways, but that's on me. He goes, there's your answer, Peter, for the ZFC. Just call Lewis. Okay, Raul. I'm not going to attempt the last name because I just don't have it. Well, let me try it. Raul Peria? Hopefully I said that correct. Pereira. Hopefully. Let me know if I got it right or if I was even remotely close. It says, I'm back. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. This is Moses shot on the X6. Holy cow. That's an old camera. That's so funny. But you know what? I actually got it really cheap, Doc. Right? I got it with the kit lens for $100. This was like over a year ago. Like this is like, yeah, this is like 2019 where I got it. Oh, I'm getting some messages here. So oh, okay. Doc sent me a message now. Aaron, let me know if you're. Let me see. Doc, let me know. I just got the message. Let me know if that's something I can try right now while I'm live, or if that's something that I have to wait till I finish the stream. But going back to the NEX6, what I did some research on it, Doc, and believe it or not, the NEX6 has the same 16.1 megapixel sensor, and it is the X-Trans sensor that you would find on the XT series and the XT1. So the updated XT or the trans sensors that they use for the XT2 and the XT3 and the XT4 is that 24 and then the 26 megapixels. The first XT1, this one, is the 16.1 megapixels, still from Sony, and that's the same exact sensor. And what I've realized is that the look that people love from this X-Trans sensor that they get from the Fuji cameras, that they're always saying it's just like that look, that je ne sais quoi, right? I get very similar looks from this Sony. And I know it's old, but just like that, like they look vintage like Moses. But they have a film quality to them that's very similar to what I get from that Fuji camera, and it's in a Sony. So it's very interesting. And the other thing is that I want to do a comparison test of which is the other half of this. I want to do a comparison test of the Sony kit lens, the 16 to 50 versus the 15 to 45 from Fuji. So this is the Fuji kit lens. There's so many similarities. Like if this was a 16 to 50, it would be dead on point, right? Because they're both like pancake that actually extend, similar focal lengths, similar apertures, and they work fairly the same, where you have like a power zoom built into the lens and the focus ring, not much after that. So I want to compare both of those lenses, but I didn't think that would have been fair to compare the Fuji lens, which was a 16 megapixel, versus like the A6100 that has a 24 megapixel. So being that they have the same sensor, same megapixel size, I am going to match both of those lenses up on these two cameras, on the Fuji X-T1 and the NEX6. Boom. So that's what I'm doing with that. I still love your comment. Moses shot on the NEX6. Okay, so hold on. I'm just reading this message to see if I should be doing something. Okay, so I guess for today, I won't have the ability to bring anyone on. But once again, Aaron, I'm gonna just check that out to see if maybe I get in contact with you if you still need help with that. Kevin says, I just picked up both the Rokinon 12mm f2.8 and the 24 2.8 for my ZV-E10 when they were at $199 each. Exciting to get out and shoot. Those are going to be really good lenses, and they're both autofocus. So I would love to hear your experience with it as well. Doc, I just read your message, right? What I was talking about was the promo code that you sent me to see if I could apply that right now or afterwards. Or like I said, if I have to wait for next month. I think I have to wait for next month, but no biggie. I'm probably going to be here for like another 20 minutes, you know, try to see if we can close this out around 1 o'clock. Aiden is asleep, so I got to take advantage sometimes. You know, for those of you who don't know, sometimes when he takes a nap during the days, like, I have to take advantage. I'm like, you know what? I'm not that tired, but I would be later. So I'll lay down with him, you know, like at the same time as he's taking a nap, just so that I can try to get in a little bit of extra rest. It says, my bad, 12 millimeters f2.0. Oh, yeah, but still, I would love to hear your experience with them, because everyone loved the Rokinon 12 millimeter even when it was manual. So now that it's an autofocus, if it has the same optics or better with autofocus, that could be a real big win, especially for everyone who wants like a wide angle lens with their ZV-E10. That could be like a perfect like vlogging combination, because on top of it being 12 millimeters and autofocus, it's a small lens. So if it's light and it keeps the entire package light, that could be the winner. Sly Reader is in the house saying, hello fellow junkies, hope everyone is having a wonderful Saturday night. We are, and we always thank you for stopping by. I appreciate that. Says, I can fix that. Okay, so he's doing fire emojis. 43 weeks, we're clapping. Let me see where we're at here. I'm trying to get the time of this 12:20. Oh yeah, I'm pulling a Diana Gladney. I'm 20 minutes behind the messages. This is bad. All right, let me get to this. Club Camera Junkie, come hell or high water. Absolutely. Take a break when you need to, though. Yeah, exactly. But that's exactly what I wanted to reference, right? Where some people be like, you know, if you need to take a break, take a break. I'm like, this every Saturday is my break. This is my happy, like, escape, right? Hanging out with all of you. Being here, doing this experience, this is my time to forget about everything else that I have to deal with during the week. And that's why, like I said, I'm so appreciative. This is where I want to be. So if somebody were to say like, hey, if you could just relax and not do anything, what would you do? I'd be doing this. So thank you. Karen wants to speak to the manager. I have that NEX VG10 camcorder. You see, that's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the one that I'm talking about. I would love to see like today's modern glass on that. You could do a video, Doc. Okay, Tom saying good night, everyone. Thanks again for the awesome stream and story. Thank you for stopping by, and your 20 minutes gone. So everybody say good night to Tom. Okay, Aloha TB says Doc Rock. Everybody's saying good night to Tom Buck, Randall. YouTube can handle 60 frames per second HD, not 4K 60 frames per second. David Osler has trouble doing that. Absolutely. And David Osler, or maybe David Osler does have it. My mind automatically, when I read David, thought of David Foster, like Impartial Geek, because he's like master levels when it comes to like streaming. He will be able to get the most out of anything, and he always prefers broadcasting in 1080 high definition at 60 frames a second. He thinks that it's what gets him the most realistic, real to life video through this platform, and that's why he prefers it. I think myself, for streaming, 30 frames per second has worked the best for me. For my pre-recorded content, it's all at 24 frames a second. I do see the difference, but when it comes to like the latency that's built into the platform automatically, and you know how the stream looks over the 4K, I've noticed that to me it looks better in the 30 frames per second when it comes to live streams. Doc streams always at 24. everything that he does is 24. He says going to buy it. Typo. Yeah, but that's us. You're gonna do it or you're gonna buy it. Says the drowsy face. Was that me or was that Aiden? Sorry, Manuel. I posted the link to the instructions, Aaron, but YouTube blocked it. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right, Doc. You're not a mod? Oh, that's... Thank you for that clearing of an oversight, Randall. Yes, Doc Rock should... See? That should have already been done, but yes. There you go, sir. You've been wrenched. You've been knighted. Oh, and that's it. So I did 20 minutes of messages fast. Okay, so we're good. All right, but now we're here. Doc Rock, you have just been moderated, so you'll be good to go. But yeah, I don't know if you guys have any other questions or anything. I'm glad that you guys enjoyed my story. It was an amazing experience what I was able to partake and share with Peter Gregg. Yeah, and just the last little tidbit, he even gave me the tour of his kitchen, which is where he records his show, Peter's Kitchen. So I got like the entire tour. It was like Universal Studios behind the scenes of Peter Gregg's various YouTube channels and everything that he's got going on. I feel honored, you know, because I know that I don't know who else has ever gotten that experience, if any. If I'm the first, I am already extremely grateful for the experience. It was super cool, and once again, it just like solidified a friendship that was established online and now made into real, you know, into fruition with the actual meeting of Peter Gregg, which is gonna be not only the highlight of my week, but the highlight of a long time for me. So says when you talked about Aiden's drowsy face. Oh yeah, so cute. I know he's got a I call it foggy faced. And that's just so you know, like, you know, when somebody gets all like drowsy, looks like an old person, you know, like you're just an old fogey. So that's what I call him. And then when he gets to that, I just say he's like fogey in the face. Yeah, drowsy face. Says now I have to be good or Doc will put you in time out. I'm guessing that's for Paul. But you know what, Doc? If I hadn't gotten to you before and that was for me, I'll accept it. But I'll tell you the truth. There's a lot of times that I just learned recently that you could actually make people moderators when they're not in your live stream. And I was thinking that I had to wait for the correct opportunity to have you in chat like I just did. And that was my only experience of making people moderators. And every time that you had stopped by before, you know, I had just totally like brain farted on it. So my bad. Says wash hands and prayer. Yeah, that's another cool thing. Peter Gregg was pretty much like all set up. He had like little Purell dispensers everywhere. You understand? So it was like, and you just keep yourself clean, and it was all good. But it was a great experience, and I'm super grateful to have it, you know, to have gotten the opportunity to help him out and gotten that experience, not only for myself but for my little man, for Aiden. Him playing the piano is something that I will, like I said, I'll never forget. And to be able to experience that and see where and what is the possibilities of Aiden playing the piano in the future, who knows? But it's another option and something that I look forward to now. So with that being said, Randall said, go to bed, Lewis. And I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to join Aiden in nap time. He goes, I know what that means. Good thing I'm not monetized, so I don't get demonetized, right? That's things that only monetized channels have to worry about.
Let's go.
But seeming that I'm not monetized, before I close this out, if you do want to support me, you could always hit me up at my Buy Me a Coffee. That has nothing to do with YouTube, and you can still show your support way before YouTube seems that it's viable for you to send me a super chat or anything like that. So anyone who does that, I appreciate it, because it really shows me the possibilities of this platform and how awesome this community is. So with that being said, I want to thank everyone for hanging out with me as always in Club Camera Junkie. It's always been my pleasure to have you here. I have been your host, Luis, Mr. Camera Junkie, and like I said, if you made it this far and you're not subscribed, make sure you do so. Make sure you say hello, whether it's in chat, in a future live stream, or in the comments of the replay, and make yourself known to the Camera Junkie crew. I would love to meet you and say hi myself. So, as always, everyone, take care of yourselves. Be good. Have a great week. I believe we all have an extremely busy week. I don't even know how to get mine started besides just one foot in front of the other. But tomorrow is Sunday. I have a lot of things planned. Some people are going to be watching football. I'm going to be working, as always, and getting things done as much as I can possibly get done. So, my afternoons is set for my father. I'm going to be visiting my father tomorrow afternoon after I get some work done, and after that we'll see what the week brings for me. So once again, thanks for hanging out. Take care of yourselves, be good, and I will see everyone next week, same time, same place. That's 10:55 p.m. with a 5-minute countdown. Show starts at 11, and we will be here for week 44 consecutive Saturday nights on the Camera Junkie live stream. Love you guys. Appreciate you hanging out. Have a great night. Until next time. Let's see, the outro.